Yo, what's up, everyone? It's your boy Jack Oates to go. You either know or you don't. So, I know I said I was gonna do, more of the war. I was gonna finish the way I would do the war in the Spade Kingdom. Geez, I almost ran over some words. I'm on my way to work, by the way. I did want to talk about Liu Bei's age, really quick. So, I was getting a lot of messages on Twitter before I kind of let Twitter go, about like how this still fits into like the theory I've been putting out about Liu Bei being Licht's child, and it still works because one thing we don't quite know is how time works in Klippa. So I would assume that when you die, you pretty much like don't age. Death is the end of your age, pretty much. So when Licht and that whole massacre thing happened, I do feel like Liu Bei was thrown into the Klippa as just a child. And maybe he, I don't know, grew a bit or just ended up at the age that we saw him in when the demons were torturing him. Don't know how that works, but if that happened, then he could have stayed that age for 500 years, meaning that Liu Bei was being tortured for 500 plus years until he was maybe a little shorter than 500 years, actually, because of the Seed of Founding, right? So, actually, yeah, 500 years. Being tortured by these devils, which would be more than enough time to be so resentful towards devils. Not to mention the fact that Lucifero ruined the only thing that loved him, which was the Sita. So I do think that this still falls in line. It just depends on how time works in the underworld. It's in a lot of depictions of hell or an underworld, time is vastly different, where 1 minute can seem like forever. So it could be one of those, and who knows. But I do still think Liu Bei is Licht's actual son, while the twin that survived on to create a lineage of hybrids, and being part of that lineage. And I guess since I still have time on my way to work here, I did want to talk about something interesting that actually Broku brought up. I haven't even watched his videos in a while, but one of the notifications popped up, and it was Asta being like a part Jotun, or I believe it was Jotun hybrid or something like that. I forgot what his video was titled. But I thought that was a really interesting concept, because we know there's something strange about Asta, and if we remember, what Asta is, his physical build, it's not natural. He is muscular, like very muscular, and he was naturally just kind of, I don't want to say superhumanly advanced, but he wasn't your typical human, you know what I mean? Aside from not having magic, of course. I think that this part Jotun idea is actually on track with what could happen. And this kind of goes along with what I was saying about the Nacht and Yami conspiracy. If you didn't watch that video, I know it's like 30 minutes long, but definitely listen to it, because I do think that Jotun are being sent across the seas to go obtain grimoires, because they may not have access to grimoires. This could be very special to the land that we're seeing now, where the Clover, Diamond Heart, and Spade are. We just don't know yet, because we don't know the full details. But we do see with Yami, he came from overseas, and of course ended up acquiring a grimoire once he turned 15. And then Nacht, who could have come over much later, ended up with this grimoire that has no background. It's got no Clover, it's got no heart, no spade, no identification on it, which leads me to believe that it was manufactured in some way or somehow. And yeah, just look at that video, because there's more to that. But with Asta, it could be more of the same, where they were trying to create a being that would actually... Sorry if you hear a lot of vibrating. Like I said, I'm driving to work. So hopefully the audio isn't crazy. But in this way, we would have different forms of Jotun acquiring a grimoire, where Noct, if he is a Jotun, ends up acquiring one through the means of just having it made, having a very artificial grimoire, and then Yami, coming over before the age of 15, acquiring a grimoire kind of naturally, right? And then Asta, through way of hybridization, acquiring a grimoire, but it's a not natural grimoire. So it makes me think Asta's a part of some Jotun plan. Call me crazy. I don't coin the hashtag crackhead Jack theories for nothing. I mean, I'm going to think of the most off-the-cuff theories I possibly can for entertainment and just things to possibly think about. But Asta could definitely be a part of some Jotun conspiracy. And as I said in the last video and previous videos before that, Jotun do range in size. Jotun in translation does come up as giant, but they do range from 6 feet to these towering beasts. They come in all different shapes and sizes. Some are even cyclopses. It really depends on the Jotun themselves. It's a very broad race of beings. And they also develop as devils, as I've said in many videos before. And if we look at Lucifero, I think this is why he knows Yami by name, is because they probably share a similar heritage. We see Lucifero is a giant demon, like literally giant. We also see Xenon's devil is literally giant as well. So I wonder if these are actually a mix of Jotun and elves that are in the underworld, and could explain why Lucifero's magic is kind of particular. We haven't seen anything quite like gravity spells, and if we look at the giant demons or devils that we see, they have some like space augmenting spells. We have the shadow magic, dark magic, the gravity magic in Xenon's absolute space. If you ask me, that's enough in common to kind of say, hey, we might be looking at a specific race of beings that have very specific powers. Now, as far as Asta goes, it's still up in the air, and I do believe we haven't seen Asta's true power. I think that the Jotun could potentially have a different power system, as we see with Ki, and that was something I meant to bring up earlier, was that Asta picked up Ki way more than naturally. I mean, in the fight of his life against who we thought was definitely the strongest person in the verse at the time, learned Ki right off rip. It took nothing. And we could definitely chalk that up to Asta being a prodigy, but the fact that no one else has shown the ability to sense Ki other than Yami and then Asta leads me to believe that it's quite possible it's Jotun specific. But I'm turning into work right now. I've got to walk in. I'm running. No, I'm not even that late. I got like 5 more minutes until I am. But I do want to end it there. But you guys tell me what you think in the comment section below. The Black Clover verse is just wild, and anything is possible, as is life in the world of magic, or lack thereof. So, again, tell me what you think in the comment section below, and let me know what you guys want to talk about. I mean, I'm down to keep doing videos in this format. Like I said, I don't have a ton of time to edit. I'm working like 16 plus hours a day until further notice, so I won't have time to edit. But yeah, let me know what you guys want me to talk about. If there's anything specific, if there's not, I'm just going to be talking about shit. So this has been Jack Goes to Go. You either know or you don't.